This is Trevor Greer, analyst with Coast to Coast Sports. Today's presentation is about the Fort Garry Invitational basketball tournament, a little bit about the history of the tournament, the legacy of the tournament, and the upcoming resurrection of FGIT.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You now tuned in to another exciting episode of Community Speaker. We are now in the Fort Rouge area. The reason we're in Fort Rouge today is because we're here lobbying for something that's greater than our calling. It's the calling of the entire south end of the city, all of Fort Garry. We have talked about Fort Garry being a business zone that doesn't have much support. We are here to lobby with the return of the Fort Garry Invitational Tournament in order to make it happen. Typically it happens in the month of December. We're pushing to have it in Remembrance Week this year from the 11th to the 18th at Vincent Massey for the boys, as it traditionally was, and Fort Richmond Collegiate for the girls. But without stalling on that, what we want to get to is that we need a place for true professionalism to occur. I'll give you an example. If you want to play football, you can practice your whole career and then go play professionally for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. If you want to play hockey, you could do the same and land with the Moose or the Jets. If you want to go play baseball, we've got the great Goldeyes in our city. Soccer, you've got Valor. But where do you go if you need volleyball support? True path to professionalism. Where do you go if you need true path to professionalism for basketball? There's nowhere. We get deflated. We play our entire career only to get to 18 and say that there's no stepping stone to take us to the next level in our own province. We've got to go against the grain, come up with money out of our pocket, travel across the country, go play in the Golden Horseshoe of Toronto, Montreal. That's tough at 18 years old to do. Not a lot of people could do it. I did it and maybe the person that I am today. So I'm back in my community to make it stronger and lobby for things that the community needs. We're here today at Fort Rouge Leisure Center, a city-owned venue. You can look around the community, tons of great people, tons of dense capacity, people living here, but it needs a facelift, it needs support. Wob Canoe, we're knocking at your door. Sherry Rollins, thank you for your support. But we still need more help. We need direction. We need to know, safe restart, what's coming in our future for education to help our student athletes that were deprived. So, with that being said, we're taking the step to make application towards something called manitobaville. Manitobaville, we're gonna tell you the great story about Fort Garry. We're going to tell you the great story about the illustrious history of the Fort Garry Invitational Tournament and everything that we need to do in order to get a safe restart and really create change in our great city, our great province, our great country, our great continent.
We're here at Coast to Coast Sports at Vincent Massey Collegiate to make an announcement that's something that's very near and dear to both of our hearts. I'm Trevor Greer and this is Vin Robinson, and we are here to announce the return of the Fort Garry Invitational basketball tournament. Now, what makes this such a significant announcement?
Well, Trevor, both you and I are alumni from Vincent Massey, and I think what makes it such a terrific announcement is that Coast to Coast Sports is dedicated to see the resurrection of this tournament. It started this weekend, this long weekend. You actually saw with the Midwest Sport Showcase that we were putting our stamp on sport in this province. And it's just an indication of what's to come for the future.
And I know the initial Fort Garry Invitational started in 1960. with the opening of Vincent Massey Collegiate. So even though there has been a break of a number of years between editions of the tournament, this is a tournament with an illustrious history. And it must be really exciting to get it going again and rewrite some history as time goes on now.
Yeah, I think that it is, but there are people in the world that are history buffs, and they want to appreciate where we were in order to know where we're going. And then there's the changing of the guard, which is the new position that wants to put their own stamp on things and see things go in a different direction. My opinion of what the Fort Garry Invitational Tournament is going to be is maybe something a little bit different. The invitational aspect of it might be one player invite, so that we're making kind of like an all-Canadian aspect of what this game would look like versus numerous teams from all across the country that are coming in to compete. So the position's a little bit different, but with recouping after COVID, it makes sense for the positioning.
Yes. Also, I do remember teams that came in from as far away as BC, some teams that came in from the States. There are girls' teams, there are boys' teams. Is that the vision now as well?
Yeah, that's still the vision. Through our partnership with Scotiabank and Herzing, we do want to focus on the point of inclusion, where we're not turning our backs on any gender. We are really gender neutral. We'll find a place for people to land and being able to play, and that's the focus. If you could ball, if you're cream of the crop, it's time to get ranked.
At the height of the tournament's popularity, over 1,000 people would attend the Vincent Massey Gym for the championship finals, which, now that there was 2 of them, was twice as likely to involve a team from one of the 2 host schools. Over the years, FGIT has meant a lot to a lot of people, and this is because as the tournament progressed, basketball by its own nature is an inclusive sport. It doesn't matter what your race, creed, any of that, what it means once you get out on the court. Once you hit the basketball court, it's showtime, and it's about teamwork, and it's about total commitment to the game itself. In 1985, as previously mentioned, the girls' tournament amalgamated with the boys, meaning that it became a co-ed tournament. Various demographics joined the FGIT as well as immigrant populations increased in Canada, and highly talented players from all countries around the world eventually became represented in some facet in this tournament. FGIT set itself apart from other basketball tournaments in that the major award winners also receive bursaries and scholarships to further their education beyond high school. This in itself set the tournament apart from other just regular basketball tournaments that you could complete in 2 days, crown a champion and give a trophy to. This had first and second team all-stars, most sportsmanlike, MVP awards, and all were attached to a bursary or scholarship. And at the time of the FGIT's peak popularity, this almost meant more than the championship. Throughout the FGIT's history, there were some extremely talented athletes and even athletic families that participated in the FGIT, including from the Shaftesbury Titans, Todd McCulloch, who went on to play for the 76ers and New Jersey Nets in the NBA. He stood 7 feet tall, and Shaftesbury's offense involved running through Todd under the basket, he would average 40 points a game throughout the tournament and was an outstanding talent. This is just an example of the quality of play that this tournament had. The FGIT also acted as a homecoming of sorts. At the time of its inception, Vincent Massey didn't have a football team, and the homecoming tradition hadn't really been established. However, with FGIT, that was the school's homecoming. Alumni would come far and wide just to watch some basketball and to be a part of the tournament that was so near and dear to their hearts throughout their high school years. I can't stress enough the fact that community involvement was a big part of FGIT. Whether it was the corporate sponsorships, at the time Boston Pizza was a big player of the game sponsor. Dairy Queen had an award they sponsored as well. You know, the small businesses in the community of Fort Garry were all, I can't say all, but were very involved in the production of the FGIT. With being involved in this, the public knew that there's a large tournament going on. The public was curious. They supported FGIT. Success breeding success once again.
Welcome back to our show. We are now at a different arena that was suggested to us that we take a look at in order to revive and bring the sport of basketball and volleyball to professionalism. Last week we were in Fort Rouge. Today we are in Grant Park. Once again, another great area that's dense, well-maintained, and long-standing in our community. So, Charles A. Barber Arena, this is where we are. Now, one thing that I have to say is when you own property, without a doubt, something that always tends to occur is that you have to have ongoing maintenance in order to keep it up and running and to make it look good. Perhaps throughout a partnership or unloading one of these venues, it could make that occur and keep our community bright, clean, and even attract more people into the venue for a different platform of sport. You're going to come along for a walk with me so that we could point out a few things that would be required in order to bring our community up to snuff and make it a better place to live for all of our kids, all of our children, all of our families, aunts, uncles, everybody to participate in. So follow me, come along for the walk. So here we are. Like we said, we're not here to bash the city or bash anybody. We think that you guys do a terrific job. I actually take my hat off to you. It's not easy to balance and maintain all of this. But what we notice here in the summer as we walk around is some uncut lawn that's taking place, for example. When we go back to the back side of the venue, we'll also notice that there's things back here such as garbage that compiles that would need to be cleaned up. Terrific arena. You look around here, we've got Grant Park School, we've got Grant Park Mall, we've got all of this here. We do have city workers that were out today, but it's difficult to say exactly what was taking place when we look at this arena. So unfortunately, because it's summertime, we're not able to access the inside of the arena, so we're just going to do a quick walk around the outside and take a look at the things that we do notice over here that seems to be a bit of an eyesore. So, like anything, garbage needs to be collected on an ongoing basis. It's a little bit of a small garbage can here, and we're not sure if this belongs to the city or the school, but nevertheless, it needs to be cleaned up. Now, timing might have been great because we did talk about the grass. And it sounds like somebody's back here diligently at work cutting the lawn. So once again, taking my hat off to the city of Winnipeg for making sure that our soccer fields, our track fields, our parks are accessible and good for people to play on. But where things become a little bit of an eyesore might be something like this. You know, this building obviously has been tagged. Graffiti needs to be cleaned up. It's an eyesore to the community. Now, I'm a big fan of graffiti. I mean, I grew up with it. I'm part of the hip hop culture. But with that being said, there's a time and a place for everything. So having a beautiful mural maybe on the side of the building that represents our community, our beautiful mosaic, and the sports that we have might be a better indication than tagging the back of the building. And I'll just give you a quick example about the difference of really cool graffiti, which in my opinion is this piece right here, which I really do like. And it's all kind of tying into our theme about art today. But then there's pieces that lack, and it just looks like it's tagged and something that could cause problems. So with that being said, we think that this might be a terrific venue, a terrific fit. It's on a highly populated, recognizable intersection. Our next stop that we'll be taking will be at another arena that's a little bit hidden, not as out in the community as we would like it to be. So quite frankly, from my perspective, not an option, but the first two locations and arenas that we looked at, potentially so. So we'll be right back.